This is the September 7th, 2021 meeting, 22 meeting of the Planning Board. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, members of the Planning Board. The first item on the agenda is an extension of conditional final approval for a map of Open Meadow. The applicant requests an extension of conditional final approval for the subdivision number 1156, map of Open Meadow. The subdivision number 1156, map of Open Meadow, received conditional final approval for a two-lot subdivision on February 19th, 2020. Conditional final approval expired on August 7th, 2022. The applicant submitted a request for a fifth extension on August 4th, 2022. The applicant has indicated they need additional time in order to receive Suffolk County Health Department approval and to file the map in the office of the county clerk. The planning department has no objection to the request and recommends an extension period of 180 days. The planning department offers the following resolution for the board's consideration. Whereas the planning board has considered the request of J. Tremarco to extend the conditional final approval for the subdivision known as number 6, map of Open Meadow. Now therefore be it first resolved that the planning board hereby approves a retroactive 180-day extension of time to the conditional final approval for the subdivision known as number 1156, map of Open Meadow, to expire on February 3rd, 2023.
Mr. Tremarco?
Madam Chairman, members of the board, my name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. I ask the board to follow the recommendation of the planning department and grant an extension in this matter. Thank you.
The affidavit is in good order? Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to be heard on this matter? None? Okay, any questions from the board? Hearing none, in the matter of number 1156, map of Open Meadow, I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, the hearing is closed. In the matter of extension of conditional final approval, number 1186, map of Open Meadow, I move that we adopt the resolution as read in accordance with the recommendation of the Planning Department.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is adopted.
The next item is an extension of conditional final approval for Plymouth Estates in Smithtown. The applicant requests an extension of conditional final approval for the subdivision number 1172, map of Plymouth Estates. The subdivision number 1172, map of Plymouth Estates, received conditional final approval for a 5-lot subdivision from the planning board on August 12th, 2020. Approval of the subdivision expired on August 2nd, 2022. The applicant submitted a request for a fourth extension on August 2nd, 2022. The applicant requires additional time in order to file the subdivision and performance bond paperwork with the town. The planning department has no objection to the request and recommends an extension period of 180 days. The planning department offers the following resolution for the board's consideration. Whereas the planning board has considered the request of Tasso Sheen to extend the conditional final approval for the subdivision known as number 1172, map of Plymouth Estates. Now therefore be it first resolved that the planning board hereby approves a retroactive 180-day extension of time to the conditional final approval for the subdivision known as number 1172, map of Plymouth Estates, to expire on January 29th, 2023.
Thank you. Is there anyone representing the applicant?
He's not here, but he's aware of the memo and he agrees with it.
Okay, and the affidavit is in order. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to be heard on this matter? Any questions from the board? In the matter of number 1172, map of Plymouth Estates, I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The hearing is closed. In the matter of extension of conditional final approval, number 1172, map of Plymouth Estates, I move that we adopt the resolution as read in accordance with the recommendation of the Planning Department.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, the motion is adopted.
The next item is a amendment of conditional final approval for Foxwood Estates in Smithtown. This was heard at the last hearing. and it was adjourned. I think the attorney wanted to go over the memo with his client.
Hi, good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the the former applicant, Roseanne and Joe Perna. And initially, as the board knows, this was a long process. Probably took about 8 to 10 years from the time we started this and the lawsuits and so forth. But anyway, we're here, and Mr. and Mrs. Perna thought that they would like to amend the approval wherein the approval stated that there could be no access from Landing Avenue, and access would be on the new private road. Since that time, Mr. and Mrs. Perna sold the property to the new buyers who are here tonight, Mr. and Mrs. Plant, and their attorney also is here. And as a matter of fact, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, that my client, who now owns the property, Frank Patelli, met with Mr. Plant and their attorney, and we looked at the whole situation, and it appears that the best way to resolve this is for this board to allow access from Landing Avenue, and also allow the plants to become part of the private road, which has been provided for in an agreement between Perna and I guess it was Mr. and Mrs. Plant. I had nothing to do with that part of it. Anyway, the long and the short of it is we would like to come in and go out either on Landing Avenue or the private road. So part of the request is basically the same, and that's to have the opening on Landing Avenue, curb cut opening, remain, but also we will come out on the private road. So there would be, if need be, you could come in on Landing and come out on the private road, come in on the private road and go out on Landing Avenue. So it's kind of a halfway request, or maybe a double request. I don't know how you want to put it, but we'd like to keep Landing curb cut open. I believe it was a horseshoe type thing before, so the second opening on Landing would be closed, and we would have the driveway from the Plants property come in and open up on the private road. I think I made myself clear or made you more confused, I don't know, but it seems to be the best way to handle it, because we looked at it, as I said yesterday, and it appears to be more convenient to have it happen that way, with the plants having dual access. They will become part of the homeowners who pay a portion of the road's maintenance on the new private road. So they're here tonight. Their attorney is here, and I don't know if he's got something more to say, but we think this is a good solution to the problem of wanting to be able to get in and get out in a safe fashion for the new owners of the property. I guess the owners of the new homes obviously will be coming out on the new road, and it'll just be one more homeowner, the Plants, coming out either on the private road or Landing Avenue. And that's it. I think I've explained it. If anybody has any questions.
Well, I know the application before us tonight is with one curve cut coming out back to the the one right on Landing Avenue. I thought the
I
other
think-
one was gonna be eliminated. It was going back and forth. Am I correct, Mr. Colato?
Right. The original application proposed eliminating the curb cut on the private road and keeping Landing, but now they want to keep both.
You
I don't
think-
see an issue with that. We never had a problem with the access to the private road. It was more Landing. We recommended approval of keeping the Landing Avenue. The only comment I have is it might change some of the wording of the conditions. Engineering department wanted revised grading and drainage plan. I think that should still stay, but some of the language about eliminating the access to the proposed private road, that should be removed if you want to go along with
Do
what
you-
Mr. Tramarko is proposing.
Do you feel we should adjourn it, and then you can rework it, and we can put it on, and we can accommodate both driveways, but that we should reword it and
I don't know
check
if-
with the departments?
I don't know if you need to adjourn it. You probably just have to eliminate condition 2. The applicant shall also be required to provide on the plan any new proposed modifications and regrading on Lot 1 in order to eliminate their driveway access to the proposed private road. The engineering department recommends the driveway on Lot 1 be terminated with a curb to prevent access to the private road over the roadway mountable curb. So if you eliminate that, condition 1 still covers the requirement of submitting a revised grading and drainage plan. Either way, whatever the proposal is, it would be reviewed by the town,
Okay.
to make sure it meets their requirements.
Well, I have a question then to the board. Does anybody have any problem with that? Does it seem okay?
Which driveway are you gonna keep?
Going to keep both?
No, are we gonna go by Foxwood Court or further down there?
No,
there'll be
they'll
both.
come
New
out,
Hampshire.
they'll come out on,
Horseshoe.
they'll come out on that, on the new,
Maybe I
the
should.
new court, and then,
Yeah, no, but there's one driveway you're gonna cut here, another driveway you're gonna cut here. Which one we gonna eliminate?
We're not
Existing
eliminating,
driveway.
we're keeping both of them.
there's a
So they're
drive-
gonna have 2 cuts on Landing.
No,
No,
one cut.
well,
One cut.
the one on Landing will be for the subdivision and for the
Be a horseshoe.
plants
Be a
to be able to come out either way. They can come out either out the side onto the new
Yeah, but it shows
right-of-way, so to speak.
here. This is
and
the driveway they're
also-
gonna use.
No, it's maintaining both of them, Bill. That's.
How
it's
about-
So you
proportional.
have 2 cuts
that okay with
on
you?
into Landing.
But they're, no, one cut, they're coming into this road here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, all they're doing is taking out the condition of no curb cuts on Landing, and they're allowing the curb cut on Landing. We're taking out condition 2, which now will allow them to use Landing, or as Mr. Tramarko explained it, they can come in Foxwood or whatever name that road is. That's all they're doing. We don't need to adjourn it unless you want.
No, and then also they'll be part of the association for the snow removal, et cetera. That's all still going to be in there.
Yeah, they'll be part of it.
Sounds,
Mr. Attorney, you agree with that also, right?
Correct. Jacob Turner, I'm the attorney for Mr. and Mrs. Plant. As the board
Could you
will
just
remember-
speak into the mic? Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Thank you, Matt. Jacob Turner, the attorney for the Plants. As the board will remember, the last time I was here, I explained to the board that I recently was retained by the Plants, who recently purchased the home, and they learned about this, and they basically came to me saying, what's going on? And so it took a while. We had to go through a lot of paperwork because, as the board realizes, when there's a subdivision, there's a lot of conditions to everything. And upon review, they decided, A, they do want to be part of Foxwood Court, but B, they really need the access to Landing Avenue directly from their house. As Mr. Tramarko was explaining, we were all there yesterday. And at one point, Mr. Plant and I walked out to get his mail, and we looked at the driveway, and we determined that the greater space that there could be for vehicles exiting his driveway would be safer. It's a safety issue. The southernmost curb cut on Landing Avenue, that is there now, provides a greater opportunity for the plants to exit their property without causing a car accident. So that is why they would like to do that. So yes, if we just remove condition K, then we would be fine.
So condition K.
I'm sorry, do you understand?
And,
Okay.
yeah, I got condition K, also, condition number 2. So we have 2 of them, we have 2 of them.
You'd be
Yeah.
eliminating condition
Both.
K,
and
subject
that,
to
Right,
now 2 conditions instead of 3.
okay. Again, I want to reiterate that they're definitely going to be part of the association to join in for the maintenance of that new right-of-way. Because, you know, you can always come up with, well, I don't have to come out there when it's snowing, so I don't want to contribute. But if you're going to have that, you know, if you're going to have the 2 of them, then that would have to go along, they'd have to go along with that, joining the association.
Correct.
Okay, sounds
They
good.
are contractually obligated to do so.
Okay,
Perfect.
all right. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay?
Excuse me, I'd like to hear from your clients, please. Would, Mr. Plant, would you address the board and agree to everything that's been presented here, please, yourself?
My name is Thomas Plant, 452 Landing Avenue. I agree to everything. It's, the only thing he missed was the grade of Landing Avenue. You can't see the cars coming, so the greater distance from that hill to the southern driveway, it makes it safer. And that's what we're worried about.
We remember when you were here originally, and we had subsequently amongst ourselves had a conversation. So I just want to make sure that you understand
Yep.
that you're agreeing to this. And I forget what your portion of the maintenance for the association was, about 10%, if
Yes,
I'm not
correct.
mistaken?
Yes.
And you agreed to that as well?
Yes, we
Okay.
agree. That's it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everybody is in agreement? Okay, we will attempt to do this. So, has anybody have any questions other than, everybody's good? Okay, in the matter of number
So
11,
you're striking number 2, condition number 2.
and K, and K.
Well,
correct?
yeah,
Actually, that
the
probably,
resolution says it's, you're waiving condition K, subject to 3 conditions.
oh,
Condition
okay.
2,
So I
is
just have to
being-
eliminate condition 2 then?
yes.
Okay. All right, so in the matter of number 1146, map of Foxwood Estates, I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? The hearing is closed. And in the matter of waiver of conditional final approval, number 1146, map of Foxwood Estates, I move that we adopt the resolution we adopt the resolution eliminating condition 2, and with the other conditions in accordance with the recommendations of the planning department. Is that good? Okay.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? The motion is adopted.
Thank you.
The next item is a telecommunications application for Dish Wireless. Is there anybody here representing that? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I have a PAR to read and then. The reason for the report, the planning board will conduct a public hearing on September 7th, 2022 to consider the above referenced special exception application for a personal wireless service facility pursuant to chapters 242 and 322-30.3B of the Smithtown Town Code. The site is a rectangular shaped parcel developed with a 2-story office building and related parking located at 996 West Jericho Turnpike, Smithtown. The building currently has 3 wireless service facilities co-located on the roof. The zoning and land use, the site is zoned WSI and R21 with an office building. To the north is zoned WSI with an office building and a vacant lot. South is zoned R21 with single-family residence. East is WSI with office buildings, and west is WSI with a gas station, restaurant, and landscape supply. The proposal is to construct a personal wireless service facility consisting of 3 wireless telecommunication panel antennas 6 remote radio heads, and 1 over-voltage protector on the roof of an existing 2-story commercial building, with all related equipment to be installed on the roof. Description of the proposed personal wireless service facility. The applicant proposes to remove 6 existing telecommunication panel antennas and related equipment of a wireless facility that is currently co-located on the roof, and install 3 telecommunication panel antennas, 6 remote radio heads, and 1 overvoltage protector on the existing mounting assemblies. A, the 3 nearest personal wireless service facility sites in the town are located on a rooftop on Plymouth Boulevard in Smithtown, and 2 Suffolk County Water Authority water towers located on Wicks Path in Comac and Indian Head Road in Kings Park. B, based on review of the town records, currently there are no other Dish Wireless sites located in town. The applicant should provide a propagation map indicating any sites that have been constructed within the town of Smithtown and within 1 mile of town boundaries. The location. A, the proposed facility is not located in or near any identified avoidance areas such as flood hazard zone, wetlands, or parks. B, the proposed facility is located within an opportunity site because the proposed personal wireless service facility antennas would be mounted on the roof of an existing 2-story office building with all related equipment installed on the roof. C, therefore, the proposed facility meets the location standards. Siting. A, the proposed facility meets the siting standards because the antennas and related appurtenances would be mounted on the roof of the building. Additionally, the parcel is developed with mature landscaping and dense tree coverage to help further reduce any visual impact. B, while the proposal does not appear to exacerbate the visual impacts on the surrounding area, additional screening of the proposed facility, including additional perimeter plantings to the east, may be required at the time of site plan review to assist in reducing any visual impact. The design. A, the antennas will be mounted on poles on the eastern, northern, and western portions of the roof. The extension of the antennas will be limited to 10 feet above the top edge of the roof to ensure the overall height of the proposal is kept to a minimum to reduce or eliminate any visual impact to the adjacent residential and commercial properties. B, the proposed antennas are externally pole-mounted panel antennas. C, all related equipment would be installed on the roof. D, therefore, the proposal meets the design standards. Further review of the design will be incorporated in the site plan approval process to assure that materials, color, size, screening, landscaping will minimize the visual impact of the personal wireless service facility panels and related equipment. It should be noted that while the proposal meets the siting and design requirements under section 322-242 5B and C, any further co-location at the site would likely have an adverse visual impact to the Jericho Turnpike corridor and the residences to the north and south of the site due to an excessive proliferation of telecommunication antennas and related equipment installed on the roof of the building. Currently, there are 3 telecommunication carriers co-located at the site: AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint, with a total of 27 pole-mounted antennas projecting 10 feet above the roof of the building. 3 equipment areas with cabinets, backup batteries, other related equipment, and cabling. While the proposal would reduce the overall amount of antennas from 27 to 21, adding additional antennas and equipment could negatively impact the aesthetics of the surrounding area. Therefore, it is recommended that, should the board consider approval of the application, a condition that no further co-location at this site shall be permitted. Alternatives analysis. The application does not include proposed alternatives. Upon review of the proposal and surrounding area, planning has no alternatives to propose. The attachments, there are site plans, elevations of the proposed roof installation submitted to the application. Recommended decision, finding of facts. The proposal meets the location standards in that it is an opportunity site. The proposal meets the siting standards in that it would be mounted on the roof of an existing structure. The proposal meets the design standards in that it would be mounted on the roof of an existing structure and will not extend more than 10 feet above the building's roof line. The proposal meets the safety standards per section 242-5D in that it meets the Town of Smithtown Building Code, which incorporates section 3108.4 of the New York State Building Code for wind loads in accordance with the TIA EIA-22, and the facility is roof mounted. The Planning Department recommends conditional approval of this application as described in section 4 above. The board must await a secret determination from the Department of Environment and Waterways before taking any action to approve this petition. No further co-location shall be permitted at the subject site.
Thank you. Is there anyone representing? Okay. Yeah, step up and please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Patrick O'Rourke. I'm from Centerline Communications. I'm representing Dish Wireless. And Matt, excuse me? O'Rourke. Yep,
Do you have,
like the Cadillac. Huh?
do you have any affidavits of posting?
I
and
have all the
mailing?
affidavits posting, the signs, and
The mailings.
And I bought 7 copies of the propagations. Blaze told me to bring them here, so.
Okay.
And, well, basically, the only thing, he explained it all very well, except that Sprint and T-Mobile got married. So if they're all, and they're on the same rooftop. So Sprint's coming down. The town told us at first, there's too many antennas on there, you can't go on there. So we're basically taking Sprint's place, and Sprint had more antennas than us. And we're going up there, we're only using 1 antenna per sector, and Sprint had, I believe, two per sector. So the town had already said, we don't want any more antennas up there, but Sprint is leaving, so we're taking their spot, and we're using less equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, or
Yeah, just submit the affidavits, please.
And
what do you need?
we need the
The
affidavit.
affidavits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the mailing is supposed to be when the mailing went out, so. Right. I don't think we need pictures. Does the board want to see the,
Basically, let me-
here, you want to hand them out?
These are propagation maps. Dish Wireless, we're a new company. We're going to compete with T-Mobile and AT&T and Verizon. So we have no sites. So our propagation maps are basically what we proposed. There's no other existing sites in the town of Smithtown. But we did make maps of what is proposed and what might be, around in 2 or 3 years from now. So, I mean, if you guys, should I give each one a copy, or?
I think we have copies.
You got
Those,
copies?
yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, tonight, we are going to adjourn this while we wait for the secret determination. So we're going to adjourn it to a future date, and did you want to do that? Do you think it'll be ready by the next meeting?
I think so, yeah. The
Which would
28th.
be September 28th. Okay, so that's what we're going to do tonight, and
I think we're still within the shot clock. I think it's like 62 days or something like that, so.
Yeah, and it's also, once you guys answer something, I think it stops it until we come up with whatever information is requested from the town.
Right.
Okay. That's it?
okay, yes, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir, can you please come up to the mic and state your name and address for the record?
Good evening. My name is Javed Awan. I live
Can
5
you
inch
spell that, excuse me, sir, can you spell
J
that?
Javed Awan.
Thank
I live 5 Winston Drive. It's next to that building where they're putting the antenna. My bedroom is very, very close to that roof because my house is very high and the building is low. So my wife, she have a lymphoma around 11 years ago, and I don't know, maybe the cause of this communication and this radar and whatever they put it over there. I don't have any proof for that. But for my safety, I cannot accept that they're going to put some more antennas over there or something like that. Because my bedroom is very, very close to that. It's next to, my house is the first house in the Winston Drive. I brought my wife with me, and we suffered a lot, more than 5-6 months in the hospital.
I do have to say, sir, that the site, the building, has existing antennas on it. They've been there, and what's going to happen is they're just going to replace the antennas that are there already with very similar equipment, with new equipment. That's pretty much what this
But
application's
it
about.
could be stronger than that?
I-
If they could give me a written guarantee that this will not affect us, then I have no
If I can just-
objection, but I cannot accept it. They have to put it something else over there.
If I can just offer this, telecommunications is something that's mostly regulated by the federal government. So any sort of emissions, that's regulated by them. So they wouldn't be permitted. It's not just the town applying, they're applying with other agencies. So they would have to follow the federal government guidelines when it comes to radio emissions. The town can't deny something if they're complying with those regulations. The town's really only looking at it from a sighting standpoint, a visual standpoint. That's why we've recommended a condition that they have no further antennas. They're actually reducing the number of antennas that are on there right now, and we're also adding to that no further antennas be permitted. But when it comes to emissions, that's not something that the town can make a decision on approving or denying. Those things are regulated by the federal government.
Then I cannot say nothing. Yes,
Yeah.
I have no any objection, you know. I am here only for my wife and my family's safety, you know. Because if you see the building, you see in the back of the tree, that's my house. In the back of the tree, my bedroom is facing on that side.
Well, I know that, as Mr. Collado said, the government regulates the emissions, and they've been approved by, I imagine, just federal guidelines, which, you know, are for what we consider safe.
Okay. If it's safe, then I have no obligation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions on this matter? Okay, in the matter of special exception petition TC 2022-01, Dish Wireless LLC, I move that we adjourn the hearing to the September 28th, 2022 meeting of the Planning Board.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. The motion is adopted.
What was the date of the? 28.
September 28th. The next item is a recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the subdivision map of KP2 in Kings Park. The applicant just submitted the affidavit of posting. This matter involves a request from the Board of Zoning Appeals to the Planning Board to review and issue a recommendation regarding an area variance currently pending before the Board of Zoning Appeals. That's case number 18748 for the above referenced subdivision application. The applicant is requesting the following variance from the BZA. Permit environmentally sensitive land to be altered, slopes in excess of 15% for a proposed 36-lot subdivision. The Planning Board has the authority to grant certain variances within subdivisions. However, pursuant to Section 248-31 of the subdivision regulations, the Planning Board does not have the authority to grant variances related to environmentally sensitive land. The subdivision number 1192, map of KPE2 LLC, is a pending preliminary subdivision application proposing to subdivide 25.94 acres into 36 single-family lots. The subdivision proposes to cluster the development on the west side of the property with R10 dimensional requirements in order to preserve approximately 12.54 acres. This is consistent with clustered subdivisions in R21 zoning, and the Planning Board has the authority to grant area variances related to clustered subdivisions. Access to the subdivision will come from Old Northport Road via the paper street known as Kings Park Road. The single-family dwellings are proposed to front the paper street and a proposed loop road known as Road B. The subdivision also proposes a recharge basin on the east side of Kings Park Road. The recharge basin location is suitable as it is the low point of the site and borders an existing industrial use. The subdivision contains approximately 1.5 acres of steep slopes, that's slopes in excess of 15%. In order to construct a subdivision as proposed, the applicant requires a variance from the BZA to alter steep slopes. The BZA held a hearing on the variance request at their June 28th, 2022 meeting. Article 16, Section 277-6 of Town Law authorizes the BZA to grant area variances within subdivisions, but requires that the BZA request a written recommendation from the Planning Board concerning the proposed variance. Town law does not describe the criteria that the Planning Board is supposed to use in developing a recommendation to the BZA. However, it seems likely that the recommendation should be based around the Planning Board's core mission regarding subdivision approval that centers on the adequacy of access and infrastructure, and to evaluate whether the subject property can be used safely for building purposes without danger to health or peril from fire, flood, drainage, or other menace to neighboring properties or the public health, safety, and welfare. This recommendation does not examine the requested variances with respect to the 5 area variance criteria described in Section 267B of Town Law, as the BZA is tasked with evaluating the requested variances with respect to those criteria. The Planning Department has reviewed the proposal and offers the following comments for the board's consideration. 1, it appears Kings Park Road and Road B provide adequate access, drainage, and infrastructure to the proposed homes. Both roads provide a 50-foot wide right-of-way with a 30-foot wide paved road. Stormwater will be directed to a proposed recharge basin. All drainage and regrading plans are reviewed and subject to approval by the Town Engineering Department. 2, it appears the proposed clustered subdivision design is consistent with adjacent R21 clustered subdivisions in the area. They provide lots with R10 dimensional requirements and provide a vegetated buffer along Old Northport Road and Lawrence Road. 3, by clustering a subdivision, the applicant is preserving a substantial amount of acreage throughout the site. This helps offset disturbance to the steep slopes within the subdivision. 4, although not required by the town code, the subdivision is providing an approximate 69-foot buffer to the adjacent residents to the west. This helps mitigate the impacts of the subdivision and disturbance of steep slopes for neighboring properties. 5, the applicant could potentially avoid disturbing the steep slopes by relocating several of the homes to front Old Northport Road. However, the individual driveways on Old Northport Road could result in potential traffic conflict points. This would also eliminate the vegetated buffer along Old Northport Road. This is not recommended. 6, the site of the subdivision is located within 2 school districts, Kings Park Central School District and Smithtown Central School District. The school district boundary was taken into consideration when designing the layout of the subdivision. All proposed lots have been positioned to be in a single school district, Smithtown Central School District, so that the neighborhood is not split. For the reasons presented above, it is recommended that the Planning Board recommend approval to the Board of Zoning Appeals. The Planning Department offers the following resolution for the Board's consideration. Whereas the Planning Board has considered the request of the Board of Zoning Appeals, case number 18748, for a recommendation regarding variances associated with the subdivision number 1192, map of KPE2, LLC, now therefore be it first resolved that the Planning Board hereby recommends the Board of Zoning Appeals approve the variances associated with the subdivision number 1192, map of KPE2, LLC, for the reasons presented in this memorandum, subject to the following conditions. 1, this recommendation pertains solely to the variance request before the Board of Zoning Appeals and not to the proposed lot layout, extent of regrading, building location, public improvements, or other aspects of subdivision design within the purview of the Planning Board. 2, nothing contained herein shall be construed or deemed as implicitly or explicitly approving or endorsing on the merits any subsequent request for approval of any subdivision for this property, whether or not the request arises out of any variances granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals for said property.
Thank you. Mr. Zolo.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, members of the board. My name is John Zolo. I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicant KPE2 LLC. I just have to tell you that Collato's report covers everything, and not only is it well-written and contains everything you need to know, but the presentation is spectacular. So I would be mumbling through it. There's a lot of stuff to go through. But we're here for this board to give a recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and as this recommendation is part of the record, read into the record, I just want to explain to the board This has been a process with a subdivision that's been put forward to the planning department with back and forth over designing of the subdivision, and the variances that were sought before the Board of Zoning Appeals were what we thought, based upon discussion with the planning department, would be the least amount variances required in order to accommodate the cluster subdivision, keeping it within the Smithtown School District, so we wouldn't have to cross school district lines. And the property is located Old North Port Road. It's R21 zoning. It's been through a whole process of rezoning over the years, and we're at the point now, without belaboring this, that I'm asking this board to make the recommendation as per the resolution that was read by Mr. Colato. And I do have Mr. Mike Marinas here from Barrett Bonacci Van Weel to talk about the design of the subdivision, if anyone had any specific applications. But again, the obligation, or what this board has presented to it, is to making a recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals on the variance, and hopefully you follow the recommendation and give a favorable recommendation to the Zoning Board on this variance application. But Mr. Marinas is here if anyone has any questions of him, or if have any questions of me regarding this application.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone? Does the board have any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Zolo, this site, has it had a thorough environmental review?
Oh, absolutely. Through the whole process, there was a rezoning, there was a full positive declaration done on this property. Back in 2018, the town board adopted the SECRA, which was resulted as the whole environmental impact statement was prepared. So the answer is yes, it has been, thoroughly as part of the rezoning. And also, we're waiting for the Environment and Waterways Department to make the SECRA resolution for the Board of Zoning Appeals, but they're waiting for tonight's hearing. But again, there was a full environmental impact statement done on this, and it was elaborate and thorough.
Was there any recommendations for any remediation in any way, shape, or form?
There was some minor recommendation for remediation that was already done by the property owner. Had to do with removing some structures and some, there was an old building that was removed. They had to do an asbestos abatement on that building. And so the answer is yes, it was done and taken care of by the property owner.
Any other questions?
Do you know how long the site prep and grade is gonna go on for?
Pardon me?
Site prep and grade?
I don't know, maybe Mr. Murdis could answer that. I don't know the answer. Site prep and grade, do you know how long that would go on for? About 6 months?
So only 6 months, like, you're saying past applicants have come across where the interpretation would be turning this thing into a sand mining operation.
We've gone, oh, sure. It's Michael Marinas, M-A-R-I-N-I-S, licensed professional engineer in the state of New York. I represent the firm of Barrett Bonacci and Van Weel, 175A Commerce Drive, Hauppauge. We've gone back and forth with the planning department, multiple iterations to come up with the grading plan that is before you now. The site has been lowered, raised, moved, shifted several times to get to the point where we're at right now, which is a minimal amount of removal of material. I know that there was concerns, and they were expressed by the planning department about sand mining, and I don't believe that's the case. And I would estimate that this site grading work we're talking about would be about 6 months, not talking about building of the houses and the roads and all that other stuff, just talking about getting the grades to the point necessary for that other work.
6 months.
That would be my estimate, yes.
Okay.
Any more questions? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. In the matter of number 1192, map of KPE2 LLC, I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The hearing is closed. And in the matter of Board of Zoning Appeals recommendation for number 1192, map of KPE2 LLC, I move that we adopt the resolution as read in accordance with the recommendation of the Planning Department.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Okay, that's 4 ayes and 1 abstention, and the motion is adopted. Good night. Okay, and now I move to adjourn this meeting.
A second?
All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. This meeting is adjourned.